Hello there! Welcome to Heartpanorama, a podcast that will take you on a journey through aspects of everyday life, such as personal development, life hacks, and other relatable topics. My name is Michelle, and I'm excited to share some of my thoughts with you in this podcast series. While I talk about today's topic, I'm mentioning certain brands, products, or services. Any form of product placement in this podcast solely serves discussion purposes and is not paid or sponsored in any way. Today I'd like to talk about me time routines and share with you what I do when I need some me time. Before we get to the core of this episode, let's see what online dictionaries say about me time. So I looked up what the Cambridge Dictionary said, and they describe me time as, quote, time when you can do what you want to do, end of quote. And the Collins Dictionary says, quote, the time a person has to himself or herself in which to do something for his or her own enjoyment, end of quote. And I think that basically sums it up. It's just time that you set aside for yourself and basically your free time that you use to do what you enjoy. And I must admit, for a long time during my university studies, I didn't consciously make time for myself to relax and unwind. It was just like I was studying all week, and sometimes in between I relaxed a bit, watched a series, read a book or something, but I didn't consciously plan out a certain day in the week or a special time of the day where I could just relax without having to think of anything else on my to-do list. So lately I've been trying to specifically make time for that at the end of the week or even in the evening, in the middle of the week. It depends on my weekly schedule, but I think it's important to have a time slot for things that you can just enjoy and not having to think about your responsibilities or other duties. So what I do on a regular basis now is reading books, catching up on the latest episodes of my favorite series, listening to music, and I think that's probably what most other people do as well. But what I want to share with you are special tips that work for me. They don't have to work for you, but maybe they can inspire you. So there are 3 major activities that help me unwinding. For example, I am keeping a diary. When I was a kid, I wrote into that diary on a daily basis. And I think I started at the age of 7 or 8 to document my thoughts and activities of the day in that book. And over the years, I somehow got lazy, I think. But in 2019 now, I started to at least write stuff down about twice a month so I can get my worries out of my system, write down my thoughts, and somehow helping my brain to sort things out. And I must say it really helps to just write down what you think so you don't keep overthinking at night, for example, or just worrying about different things and don't know how to figure them out. And at least for me, it's when I write down something, I think about them in a more structured order, I think, and they help me realize that there are certain solutions or I don't have to worry about that too much. And you just see things from a different perspective when you finally write them down and they're not messed up in your brain. Something else I have done recently is listening to other podcasts. I recently found some podcasts about personal development or personal growth that address topics that I've thought about recently, actually. And for me, it's good to get other people's views on things that I thought of in the past few years. And I realized that other people deal with similar topics or with similar problems at some point in their lives. And it's quite reassuring to know that you're not the only one dealing with those problems or issues. So what I recommend you is maybe to find podcasts about topics that interest you and maybe you can find out something that helps you. The third tip I can give you is, as I said before, to actively schedule free time where you can just be lazy, because it helps avoiding the guilt or the feeling of guilt when you should actually be productive. And I'm actually trying to remember that. And I realized that it's really more relaxing when you know you're allowed to take time off and you don't have to worry about what you're supposed to do instead or procrastinating. So it helps you to relax more easily, I think, because you know everything is going to be all right. I can do this and that on my to-do list tomorrow or next week. So it definitely helps you worrying less. There are 2 additional activities I love doing. It's, for one, making music and writing songs. This activity is kind of similar to keeping a diary because you also process your thoughts and feelings. And another thing I enjoy is do-it-yourself and crafting, because for me, building things help me relax because I focus on something other than what's going on in my everyday life. And it just helps me unwind. And in the end, I created something that I can use in everyday life later. So basically, the most of the activities that help me relieve stress are not involving looking at a phone or computer display, because I've already done this enough during my studies at university, and now at work I'm always staring at a screen. So it's relaxing to do things where you don't have to look at a display. And as enthusiastic as I am about social media, I'm sort of the social media freak among my friends, I do need a break from it time to time. And so alternative activities to spend my free time make me feel better than the endless scrolling through social media feeds. Some other activities I can tell that work for my friends are, for example, working out and meditating. It's something they do on a regular basis, for example. So yeah, everyone has to find out what works best for them. I can't promise that what works for me also works for you, but I hope I could give you some ideas for your me time routines and let me know what you do in order to relieve stress and take time for yourself. I can't wait to read about them in the comments. That was today's episode of Heartpanorama. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a like and leave a comment. Stay tuned for upcoming podcast episodes by subscribing to my channel and activating the notification bell. Check out the links in the description to find out where else you can find me and my podcast. Have a nice week and take care. Until next time, bye!